Alright, good morning y'all. Welcome back to Panama City. I'm Bob. Today is Tuesday, September the 23rd. And I'm offshore. And it's a bit sporty right now. It's supposed to calm down a little bit. The seas are not real big, but they're real constant. They're probably a foot waves, or maybe a little bigger than foot waves, but they're just constant. But anyway, I've come out here to an area that I've not fished before. I marked a bunch of stuff on with Navionics, and thought I'd come out here and see if I could catch anything. So y'all stick around and see what I'm able to catch. I do have some live menhaden that I caught this morning. I've got frozen cigar minnows and I've got frozen squid. So I've got enough bait to catch some fish. Just need to see what's out here, and like I said, this is an area that I've never been to before. I'm probably about 12 miles from St. Andrews State Park, the pass. I'm probably 7 miles off the beach, so I ran down and then it ran down and out. But the wind right now is kind of out of the, I'm not sure, northeast maybe more east than southeast or northeast. But we'll see if we can catch anything. And I'll show you what this spot looks like. So that's whatever the structure is on the bottom, and there's bait down there, and you can see the fish up in the water column, and that may be mostly triggerfish. I'll drop some bait down and see what if I can get bit by anything. Triggerfish. What I'm using here, this is a Penn Battle 4000. It's got 30 or 20 pound braid, 30 pound trilene big game leader. I've got a 1 ounce swing jig that has a 5/0 hook in it. The rod is a 7.5 foot medium heavy action inshore rod. Got good tip. Got decent backbone for triggers, and I catch red snapper on it too. We need to have a smaller hook. I'm going to change that to a 3/0 hook. Another trigger. Not big enough. We have been catching some good keeper triggerfish for the last couple of weeks, so I like to eat them. I do have a little bit of an update. If you remember, about a month ago, middle of August, I put a 36 volt lithium battery in the boat, replaced the 329 group AGM batteries that I had for my trolling motor. And so I've been running it for about a month, and it does good. On a normal day, fishing out here for 5 or 6 hours, and I'm on the trolling motor, other than when I'm running in between spots, I'll get down to around 93% battery life. And so typically I can get 2 days out of it. Well, one thing that I found is that once the battery gets down below 85%, my motor guide will no longer spot lock. It doesn't have enough power in the battery, and it's a 100 amp hour battery, so it's the same amp hour that I had before. I don't know why, but if it gets down below 85%, the trolling motor won't spot lock anymore. I can turn it on, I can move around with it, just like any other trolling motor, but it will not spot lock. When I hit the button for spot lock, it just goes and won't do anything. So it doesn't have enough power once it gets below 85%. So right now what I'm doing is I'm recharging it every time I use it, so that I don't run into that issue. And I'm going to send a note to the manufacturer and ask them if that's something that's normal, or it's something I should be concerned about, or I don't know. And I don't know how long the battery will last if I'm recharging it at less than 80%, which is what they recommend. But if it won't lock the trolling motor down below 85%, I can't wait till it gets below 80% to recharge it. So. There we go. Feels like a little grouper. So there are a red grouper here. He isn't big enough to keep. That was a little better. Really nice red grouper. I don't think he's quite a keeper. I'll check him. He's 18. So, really nice. That's a better fish. Like a big triggerfish, what it looks like. Yep. Good trigger. Well, I may have my keeper triggerfish now. That'd be good. So he's 15 and a half. So he's a keeper. Nice triggerfish. That feels like a grouper. Doesn't feel like a really big one, but it feels like a grouper. No, Look at that big old catfish. Big old sailfish. And I am the catfish king, but alright, so I just ran out about another 3 or 4 miles, and I'm in 83 feet of water, and that's what I'm seeing on the bottom. And I think that's just rock down there. That dark line, I think that's just rock down there. But there's bait fish here, and there's fish here, so we'll drop some bait down and see if we can catch anything. Oh, pretty good fish. Doesn't feel like a trigger. It's not. It is a big lane snapper. Really nice lane snapper. Well, the battery died. I don't know how much of that I got. That's a 16.5-inch lane snapper. So really nice lane snapper. And that's probably tied for my number one snapper to eat. I like beeliners, and I like lanes. Mangroves are a close second though. And I caught him on my Battle 4000 with 20-pound braid, 30-pound trilene big game leader, a 1-ounce swing jig with a 5/0 Mustad Demon perfect circle hook. And I'm in 83 feet of water. So I don't use big weights. I want to use the smallest weight that I can and still get the bait to the bottom. My hook size to me is more important because I determine what size hook I'm going to use based on what size bait I'm trying to use. So if I'm using squid, I'm going to use a 3/0, maybe a 5/0 if I'm using a big piece of squid. If I'm using menhaden, I'm going to use a 6/0 or a 7/0. If I'm fishing for snapper and I'm using cut cigar minnows, I'm going to use 5/0 or 6/0. And those seem to work the best for me. It feels like another snapper. Another really nice lane snapper. Yeah, he's probably about 12 inches, but I don't need a lot of fish in the freezer. I'll check him and see what he is. And he's 13 inches, but I'm going to let him go. Good fish. Oh, and he came with his cotton picker. So I'll show you the spot that I just stopped at right here. And I'm in 86 feet of water. But there's structure down there, and then there's a lot of bait. And then there's a lot of fish. And they may be triggers. I'm hoping it's beeliners or something like that. Well, that whatever it is. Feels kind of like a trigger. Yep. Triggerfish. Alright, so I've done a lot of running around and looking. Normally I try and cover, like 4 or 5 miles each direction. I've probably covered twice that today. I just pulled up on a spot and I'll show you what it looks like. So it's 69 feet of water, and that's whatever structure is on the bottom. Well, I thought I'd get away without catching a red snapper today, but apparently there's some red snapper here. Another red snapper. All of these red snapper look to be about the same size. About 14, 15 inches. That one's a little better. And it's still another little red snapper. Nope. Another big lane snapper though. So, really nice lane. He's 15 inches, so I'll keep him. Alright, I'm going to call it a day. It's been a good day. I have caught quite a few fish, and found a bunch of new spots to fish, eliminated a few spots that I had marked that I'd never checked and didn't have any fish on them. So, but I did find some places that had fish. I've got a big keeper size triggerfish, caught several other smaller ones. I've got two big lane snapper, threw back some smaller ones that I could have kept. But caught some red snapper, caught some red grouper. None of them were big enough to keep. But it's been a good day. Appreciate y'all watching the video. I mark stuff that I find on my Navionics app. I mark it on my Garmin Echo map, and I go out and I look at it and fish it. And if I catch something, then I keep the mark and I'll rename it. If I don't find anything or don't catch anything, then I just delete it off of my Echo map. But you know, it's just how I do it. Hope you enjoy the video. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not a subscriber, ring the bell if you want to get notified when I release new videos. I am running charters, so you're welcome to contact me through Facebook at Epic Nearshore PC. I've got that in the description. You can call me on the phone, that's in the description as well, or you can text me on my phone, and you can contact me through YouTube, obviously. But appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.